To prevent the following upload from being condemned to an oubliette, I've made minor changes to the transcript's original language. The following work is not my own. What we're seeing is the systematic implementation of the fall of the Republic and the rise of the corporation of the United States. Every major event is a step in the ladder to achieve that end. The pandemic is just another rung in that ladder, which is why there's a deliberate mixing of all the wordplay. We should stop calling it quarantine. That's a term designed for people that are verified sick. This is a house arrest mandated by the state. We should stop calling it social distancing. There's nothing social about forced isolation. We should stop saying safer at home when millions of Americans don't have basic necessities adequate to fit their needs. It assumes that everybody's home is equally as safe as the people that are making these statements. We should stop saying that this is for the greater good. When you close the economy, destroying millions of businesses that families have worked generations to establish, that's anything but good. We should stop saying that this is the new normal. That's blatant mind control. There's nothing normal about forced isolation, treating your neighbor like they have the plague, breathing your own bodily waste, wearing masks, living in constant fear of contamination. That's normal? If the virus is so deadly, why hasn't it wiped out the homeless who don't social distance, wash themselves regularly, let alone live in or have access to a sterile environment? Last year, 1.5 million people died of tuberculosis. Why weren't you wearing a mask during the tuberculosis pandemic? You were endangering public health and safety along with billions of other people around the globe, so why didn't you wear a mask? Because the mainstream media didn't tell you to wear one. Although 1.5 million people died from tuberculosis, no pandemic was declared. Why? You see, what you're participating in is a beta test for AI systems and facial recognition. These cameras work best when people are distanced apart. They're actually testing, through machine learning, how to recognize a face that's partially covered. It's also a way to easily determine who's compliant, who's not, who does the propaganda work on, and who it doesn't work on. Consider the ironies. A society that terminates millions of the unborn a year for convenience has shut itself down to prevent adults from dying. They're now preaching to the masses about the sanctity of human life. It's double speak, double talk. It's the two-doctrine policy, one for the initiated and one for the uninitiated, one for the inner circle, another for the masses. If I violate the stay-at-home order, I can be arrested, yet they're releasing convicted criminals out of prison so that they don't get the virus. Thesis, antithesis, synthesis. When a pandemic is real, does it require faulty models, rigged test results, 81% false positives, inaccurate news reporting, manipulated death certificates? When the government shuts down millions of small businesses but doesn't lay off any government employees, it's not about the public's health. When the state bans dentists from practicing but deems it necessary for clinics that terminate life to stay open, it's not about your health. When the state prevents you from buying seeds for your garden but allows you to purchase lottery tickets, it's not about your health. An institution that has the ability to destroy the entire planet with nuclear weapons shouldn't regulate personal self-defense. An institution that traffics drugs shouldn't be able to regulate plants. An institution that racked up $23 trillion prior to the pandemic in debt shouldn't be allowed to manage the retirement fund. An institution that intentionally spread STDs should not be allowed to run healthcare. You should ask yourself a few basic questions. When did you change your consent from creating a government to serve you to you serving the government ruling over you? If you want to know who's in charge, just think about who you can and can't criticize.